This video is about a song called Heavenly Road. Listen to the song if you want. The link is in the description. Heavenly Road is about the Qinghai-Tibet Railway, which was completed in 2006, connecting the Tibetan Autonomous Region with the rest of China. While the rail is nothing more than an infrastructure project bringing opportunity to Tibet, it's also a symbol of Chinese influence in the region. A quick look at the lyrics reveals that the propagandist is a proponent of Chinese influence in the region. Translated was provided by Lyrics Translate, a trusted translator produced these English lyrics. As you can see, they have a lot of contributions. I'd say they're pretty trusted. So from this first stanza, you can see that depicts an eagle, ethereal being bringing good fortune to the people of Tibet. It's an allusion to the Chinese bringing wealth. The second verse has the railroad bringing welfare like dragons across the mountains, the dragon being the power and prominence of the Chinese idea. In the second line of the chorus, Tibet is described as a borderland, and the Chinese heartland is a source of warmth to the cold, backward Tibet. The chorus emphasizes the bringing together of the peoples, as they did in a lot of other unity-related media like the 1965 film The East is Red. I will link that in the description. It's available on the English Wikipedia page for the film, by the way, the full movie, so you can just watch it on there. Chorus changes in the second part. Once again describes China as a paradise, emphasizing how much better Tibetan things like butter tea and barley wine will be when the Chinese are there and giving them their money. Lyrics aren't super complicated, and the propagandistic assumptions are very easy to spot as an outside observer, but we could have stopped there. But it goes a little further. While the lyrics are clearly Chinese-leaning, there is much more of an elegant propagandistic element to the song. Two performers have made the most important versions of Heavenly Road. The first, who performed it in 2006, Han Hong, was already an established singer. She is a half-Tibetan, her other side being Chinese. The second performer is Alandawa Doma, who is a younger singer and is fully ethnically Tibetan. Here's a clip of Han and Alan singing the song together. This performance is obviously lip-synced, but if you look closely, you'll notice something strange happen at the second verse. What just happened? Alan was about to sing the second verse and seemed to be confused when Han started singing it. The recording was playing Han's voice. From her mannerism, Alan seemed slightly disappointed and embarrassed about this. It's hard to say anything for certain because of how little information we have about the song and my highly limited Mandarin skills. However, one single comment might shed some substantial light on the mystery. Pause here if you want to read the whole thing. According to this user, JoeYang8971, Alan had requested to sing a complete line. This would have included the chorus. However, all she got was the first verse and the first again after the bridge. This commenter claims that Alan's request to sing the full line was rejected. But why? This is where it gets a little grimy. This song belongs to China, not Tibet. China built the railway. They brought the influence, the wealth, the civilized society. A Tibetan would not represent these values, Alan being a Tibetan person. Especially not in the army, which are better handled by Han, the experienced singer in the Chinese style. The important thing about the chorus of this song is that it can be sung in two ways, one being with vibrato and the other being with a vocalization people seem to be calling the Tibetan wail. I'll show you two clips of Han and Alan singing separately. Here's Alan's performance. 幸福的歌声传遍四方，那是一条神奇的铁路，带我们走进。 Alan's performance.
就是忧愁会更加香甜，幸福的歌声传遍四方。那是一条神奇的天路，带我们走进人间天堂。
Now, if you listened very closely, you will have noticed that both of them use the Tibetan wail and vibrato in their performances. But Alan used significantly more wailing and Han used significantly more vibrato. At this point, you may be wondering what the significance of these two vocal techniques even are. You are wondering, good. You're a curious little rascal. Let's start with vibrato. You've heard vibrato used many times in your life, unless you live under a very large and heavy rock. Vibrato is when singers do this. While there is literally no literature on this subject, communist music is associated with vibrato. If you've listened to enough, there is certainly an overlap between communist music of the East and vibrato singing. Obviously, vibrato as a vocal ornament has existed outside of communism for a much longer period of time. Its influence has still been permeated by the red communities of the East to a very obvious extent. Here are a few examples.
Весточку получишь, ой, мило, ой, Вася Василек, не призывайся, причина места.
청춘의 보람은 어디서 찾으려 땅 위 뜻밭들은 그 길에서 우리 찾으리 영원한 약속 신의 물어 말아요다 金竹领袖毛主席万寿无疆
While vibrato is a fairly common occurrence through the media, Tibetan wail is not at all. Again, there's little to no literature about this. I guess no one cares. Anyways, the Tibetan wail is characterized by extremely high-pitched, power and sustained vocalizations, with controlled breaks between tonal changes. A video of a Tibetan woman performing the wail went viral on TikTok a while ago for some reason. Here she is. This was mistakenly labeled as throat singing, but it isn't, it's just a sustained note. Alan is a singer who popularized the wail in the West. Fortunately, she has flooded the digital space with the term being so closely associated with herself. Here's Alan performing the wail in one of my favorites from her. Here it is. So what did you learn from this? You now know the difference between the two versions of Heavenly Road, and you understand who the propagandist is in the situation. You understand how Alan likely was given poor treatment for her more ethnically consistent style. Later in her career, she moved to Japan and produced J-pop. Now she's active in both Japanese and Chinese musical spheres. Han Hong is also still active and puts on live performances. Propaganda takes many strikingly subtle shapes and forms like the ones we just explored. A subtle change of style, a romanticization, just a few seconds of audio. I think the elegance of propaganda's effectiveness is something that must be appreciated in itself, not through its actual message. Anyhow,